Jesus. See, we have this idea that eternal life came after the death of the cross and the resurrection. But in reality, wow. In the physical body that Jesus was living in, there was no death in it. He was actually walking in the same. Now, he was the second Adam. Because y'all know the second Adam, the first Adam, the one that was in the garden in the beginning of the Bible, he was not subject to death. His physical body was built to live forever. But he died when he sinned, right? That's when sin and death entered the nature of man because of his disobedience. Well, think about this. When Jesus was born of Mary, he still didn't have death in his body. Matter of fact, when he was born with victory over death. Because his physical body couldn't die. There was no sin in his body. There was no sin in his body before the cross. But when he got on the cross, he took sin the Bible said, so he can defeat sin in the body. He took it on him so he can defeat sin in the body. He had victory over death before he died, but he said, I'll tell you what, so I can help you and you, I'm going to take your sin up on me so I can kill sin in the body now.
Glory, glory, glory.
He said, Lord have mercy. Woo. So if death been defeated through Christ, I just never saw that. I never realized that. It's just like God said to me, he said, sir, Jesus was never subject to death until he got on the cross and took your sin. He was always walking in eternity. His body was eternal. His body was it was immortal. He walked in immortality. His body was full of the life of God until he got on that cross and he died. And if we accept Jesus, the Bible said that old saying gonna come to pass. Where corrupt is swallowed up of incorruptible. Where mortality is swallowed up of immortality. And then the Bible said, and when you read that in 1 Corinthians chapter 15, and then the Bible looked back and Jesus said, oh grave, where's thy victory? Oh death, where's your stain? The stain of death is sin. Jesus took the stains of death. He took the keys of hell and the grave, and he gave authority to man. Did y'all just hear that? And, okay, I ain't going to get into all that. But I'm going to tell y'all what I'm going to do. I'm going to stop here. But I want to say this before we get ready to go. I was reading last night, Trenda. Sister Holden. And it blew my mind. I was up about 11 o'clock and I was reading. And because on my computer I got Word Search 11. And so I can go do a lot of study on history and background. And I said, for some reason, I opened up to Matthew chapter 4. And as I was reading, I started reading some of the writings of some of the rabbis. And he was doing a little commentary on Matthew chapter 4. I said, wow. I said, this just blew my mind. But I just want to drop this before we go home. But he was saying, he said, and this is what the rabbi said. He said, Jesus had to go through the wilderness to prove his divinity. Because he said the taxes of life is what proved to us tests are not set up to destroy me, but my tests are set up to release the God that is on the inside of me. The Bible said Christ in you, what? The hope of glory. So when you're going through tests in life, that's when God can release that anointing. That's when God can release his presence. Y'all remember in Matthew chapter 26, when Jesus was in the Garden of Gethsemane in his greatest hour of testing, he was getting ready to die. And I know y'all have heard this before, but the word Gethsemane in the Greek is translated the olive press, the place where they would step on the olives and squeeze all the oil out, a place of pressure. And how many know that your testing place is a place of pressure? And that's how God releases the oil. That's how God releases the anointing. That's how that's how God releases divinity, releases his presence, releases the character of God, releases the power of God. It's in your place of testing, because in your place of testing is where God can demonstrate his power. Now, we're going to go, but look back into history of the Old Testament. And when Israel was being tested, they was in wars, they was being tried by Pharaoh, they was trying to kill them. That's when God had an opportunity to demonstrate his power and to show that he was God. That's when Pharaoh was trying to kill him. He could open up the Red Sea. And they could see that he was the Most High God. He demonstrated his power. And it's the same way in the life of a believer. We're not fighting natural battles. We're not in wars with tribes and nations, but we're in a spiritual warfare. And my point is this, is that in our weakest moments, that's when divinity can stand up. That's when God can stand up and show himself mightily on our back. Y'all remember Paul said, for in my weakness, he said that's when God can show his power. Yes. So my point is, your test come to release the God that is on the inside. That God-given ability, that supernatural ability, that power that is on the inside of you. The Bible said we have what? This treasure in earthly vessels. Christ in us, the what? The hope of glory. So we have God. We have Christ on the inside of us. We have divinity in us.
Yes, yes, Lord.
And I'm going to finish this up next Wednesday. But remember this. And this is just a word of encouragement. Don't let your emotions control you when you're in the fire. Listen to your spirit. Jesus went through life walking in the spirit. Because if he had a function in his emotions, he would have quit. You know, think about it in the natural. If you go through a whole lot of rejection and hurt, sooner or later you're going to quit. You're going to feel discouraged. The Bible said Jesus came to his own and they rejected him. They didn't even want to hear what he had to say, some of them. Jesus was not affected by people. Because he didn't relate to people, if I can say, from a place of his emotions, but he related to life and to people from a spiritual standpoint, from the knowledge of God and from the Spirit of God. That's the way he lived his life. Because if he had to live by his emotion, you know how we are, don't you? If you hurt me, I'm going to shut down. I'm getting away from you. Don't talk to me. I don't want to have nothing to do with you. Why? Because number one, you rejected me. And some of us live our life, well, I don't know how they going to feel about us. So we don't never do nothing. You know how I got to the place? I don't care what nobody thinks. You can like me or not like me. You can take it or leave it. I don't care. Because really what you think don't matter to me. As long as I'm obeying God and I'm doing things in love and doing things right, I'm going to be okay. Now, if I'm mistreating you, I'll be scared and afraid. But if I'm doing things in love and telling you the truth, I don't have nothing to be afraid of, because God's going to back me up if I do what's right. Now, if you mistreat people and doing wrong, you might not be afraid, because just in case you didn't know it, there really, look at me when I say it, because there really is a heaven and there really is a hell. And you going to one or the other. So don't think you're going to live your life and just go sit in heaven any kind of way. The Bible said don't do it, you go do it. He going to pay. But you know what? God won't be doing it to you. You're doing it to yourself. Oh, God going to send them here. God ain't sending nobody to hell. You made that decision. God don't send nobody to hell. God even told you, he said, guess what? I want you to choose life. Don't go there. Please choose what's right.
That's right.
So you and your children can live. You know what most parents don't think about, and most people don't think about, what you do will affect your children. You think you running out here in the streets drinking and partying, lying and doing crazy stuff. You think, oh, I'm grown, I'm just doing what I want to do. But what you don't realize is this. If that's your seed, what's in you is going to pop up in him.
All right.
You can't stop it. Because he's bone of your bones and flesh of your flesh. He came out of you. It's kind of like people say, you know, boy, you act just like your daddy. Your daddy used to do that. He drank like that. He partied like that. It ain't that I wanted to do it, like it just came up in me. Because I'm his seed. So you got to be careful what you do. You're planting seeds. You know? Just like you was bad when you was little, wouldn't listen to your mama. Now your children come up and they bad as the devil, and you were, and now your mama sitting back laughing at you because she remember how bad you were, and so now you're reaping what you sowed, but you sowed the seed. Life ain't nothing but like what you call it. Life ain't nothing but a bag of seeds. What you sow, you reap. You know, and that's why I made a decision that guess what? I don't drink, I don't party, I don't run the street, I don't do a whole lot of mess, because I got sons that I want to set an example for, and I know that they're going to follow the way I live, and whether I believe it or not, I can go do my mess over here, but guess what? Them demons follow me back home. And they said, guess what? I'm going to get your seed too. You think what you're doing is just you. Now, this is going to affect your whole house. You got to be careful what you do. What you sow, you reap. I had a woman to tell me this, and I guess y'all said, Pastor Burr, you're going to ever shut up. But I had a woman to tell me this, and I'm going to shut up on this. I had a woman to tell me this. She's a very wealthy woman. Before she got saved, she told me this. She said, me and my husband, she said, we was terrible. She said, we went to swing clubs. He slept with other women, I slept with other men. She said, I was lesbian. Well, I wasn't really lesbian, but I was sleeping with women and sleeping with men. Listen to me, I'm making a point. Now, her daughter, at the age of 21, all of a sudden just pop out the closet. I'm a lesbian. But you know what she don't realize? But now she do. She said, Pastor Barnes, I planted that seed when I was in the world. She said, now my baby's reaping. She said, if I had known what I know now, she said, I would have never done it. But said, we just called ourselves, we wealthy, we got money, we can go anywhere we want to and do whatever we want to. They millionaires, they rich folk. They just do whatever they want to, but they fail to realize what you sow, you go reap. Can I dare tell you before we go home? Watch what you sow, watch what you do. And you might think, well, I ain't doing it in front of him. It ain't got nothing to do with it. It's going to follow you back. Them spirits going to follow you. Read your Bible. Read your Bible. Cain killed Abel. Y'all remember that? Do y'all know later on in history, Cain's son came back and did the same thing to somebody else? What he sowed, he reaped. That spirit, that demon was passed down from generation to generation. powerful than what you think. And your decisions do matter. Your choices do matter in life. Make the right ones. Okay, let's stand up. We're going to get ready to go home. We want to say we love y'all, appreciate y'all for coming out. Did y'all get anything out of that today?